A racist biker gang targets a quiet stranger at a gas station, mocking him for not belonging. But when fists fly, they realize too late. They just picked a fight with Mike Tyson. What happens when the world's toughest boxer stops holding back? Hit subscribe to watch the explosive showdown unfold. Drop a comment with where you're watching from. A dusty highway stretches under the blazing sun, cutting through a quiet Texas town. The air hums with the growl of motorcycles. Outside a weathered gas station, 5 bikers in leather vests litter the parking lot. Their leader, Duke, a towering man with a jagged scar down his cheek, spits on the ground and cracks his knuckles. The gang's name, Steel Reapers, is stitched boldly on their backs. Inside the gas station, an elderly cashier rings up a customer, his hands trembling as Duke's crew laughs loudly by the soda fridge. A black family pulls into the lot, their car dusty from the road. The biker's laughter dies. Duke nods at his crew. They fan out, blocking the family's path as they step out of the car. Wrong town, Duke sneers, his voice dripping with hate. The family freezes, fear sharp in their eyes. Suddenly, a black SUV rumbles into the lot. The engine cuts, and the door swings open. A man in a plain gray hoodie steps out, Mike Tyson. He stretches casually, his eyes hidden under a baseball cap, and heads inside. The bikers watch, distracted. Duke smirks. "Looks like we got another lost puppy," he mutters. Mike grabs a bottled water and a bag of chips, ignoring the tension thickening the air. The cashier whispers, "Be careful, sir." Mike nods, tossing cash on the counter. Outside, the gang circles his SUV. One of them, a wiry guy named Vince, slaps the hood. "Fancy ride for a nobody," he snickers. Mike steps outside, squinting in the sunlight. Duke blocks his path, arms crossed. "You lost, boy?" The gang chuckles. Mike adjusts his cap. "Just passing through." He moves to leave, but Duke shoves him hard. Mike staggers but stays upright, his jaw tightening. Vince steps closer, poking Mike's chest. "We don't like your kind here. Gotta pay a toll." The gang closes in, fists clenched. Mike sighs, rolling his shoulders. "Walk away," he says quietly. Duke throws the first punch, a wild swing. Mike ducks effortlessly, his body moving like water. Crack. A single hook to the ribs sends Duke crumpling to the ground, gasping. The gang freezes. Vince lunges with a knife. Mike grabs his wrist, twists, and the blade clatters. A quick uppercut. Vince drops. The remaining 3 attack at once. Mike weaves, strikes, dodges. A kick to the knee, a jab to the gut, a right cross. Bodies hit the dirt. The family watches, stunned, as Mike stands over the groaning gang. Duke coughs, struggling to rise. "Who are you?" Mike yanks off his cap. Duke's eyes widen. Recognition floods his face. The tattoos, the stare. The world's most dangerous boxer. "You picked the wrong guy," Mike says, tossing the cap back on. Sirens wail in the distance. The family drives off, relief washing over them. Mike climbs into his SUV as the sheriff's cruiser skids into the lot. The sheriff, an old man with a bushy mustache, spots Duke's crew groaning on the ground, and Mike behind the wheel. He chuckles, tipping his hat. Mike nods back, pulling onto the highway. The sheriff hauls Duke up. "You just messed with a tornado, son." Duke stares at the fading SUV, dread settling in his gut. This isn't over. Night falls over the Texas desert. Duke's gang licks their wounds in a rusty trailer park hideout, their egos bruised worse than their bodies. Duke paces, his face twisted with rage. "Nobody humiliates the Steel Reapers," he growls, slamming a fist into the wall. A photo of Mike Tyson from his boxing days hangs crookedly, torn from a magazine. "We finish this. Tonight." Mike sits at a dimly lit diner 20 miles down the highway, sipping coffee. The waitress, a no-nonsense woman named Rosa, refills his cup. Heard about what happened at the gas station, she says, eyeing his split knuckles. Mike shrugs. Just another Tuesday. Outside, his SUV sits alone under a flickering streetlight. The Reapers roar into the diner's empty parking lot, engines snarling. Duke spots Mike through the window. No cops this time, he mutters, pulling a chain from his bike. Inside, Mike's head tilts slightly. He hears the rumble. Rosa freezes. Go, Mike says calmly. She ducks into the kitchen, locking the door. The gang bursts in, armed with bats and knives. Duke swings the chain, smashing a table. You think you're tough? He barks. Mike stands, rolling his neck. Y'all didn't learn? The gang lunges. Mike flips a table as a shield. A bat shatters it. Crack. But Mike's already moving. He grabs a ketchup bottle, hurls it at Vince's face. Splat. Vince stumbles, blinded. Duke swings the chain. Mike ducks, yanking it hard. Duke slams into a booth, plates clattering. The diner becomes a battlefield. Mike uses everything, salt shakers, chairs, his fists. A Reaper swings a knife. Mike sidesteps, slamming the man's hand into the counter. The knife drops. A kick to the chest sends him flying into the jukebox, which blares Johnny Cash on impact. Duke, desperate, pulls a pistol from his jacket. Mike's eyes narrow. Big mistake, he snarls. A coffee mug rockets through the air, thud, hitting Duke's wrist. The gun fires, shattering a window. Mike lunges, disarming Duke in one motion. The gang stares, paralyzed. Still think I'm not tough? Mike says, towering over Duke. The Reapers back toward the door, but red and blue lights flood the diner. The sheriff and 3 squad cars surround the building. Rosa emerges, phone in hand. Called him when you told me to hide, she says, smirking. The sheriff cuffs Duke, shaking his head. You're like roaches. Can't stay gone. Mike grabs his jacket, tossing cash on the counter for the damages. The sheriff stops him. Town owes you. These idiots have been a plague for years. Mike nods. Just passing through, remember? As the Reapers are hauled away, Duke glares from the cop car. Mike leans close to the window. Stay down, he says quietly, or next time, I won't hold back. Duke looks away, jaw trembling. Mike's SUV disappears down the dark highway. The sheriff watches, chuckling. World's toughest boxer, huh? Rosa laughs, wiping the counter. Nah, just a guy who hates bullies.